Hello, folks. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed. Right now, I am here to review the trailer for the 1973 movie called Scream, Blacula, Scream. This is a sequel to the 1972 movie called Blacula. And in this particular film, it shows that Dracula was resurrected by voodoo. So there's a voodoo cult in this particular film, of course. So a guy who's a voodoo priest, he resurrects Dracula through a particular ritualistic spell in a mansion, of course. But he doesn't expect to bring back Blacula. Instead, he's trying to resurrect someone else or bring about some other effect. And then Blacula is shown rising up through the flames, of course. And then all this is going on through the ritual. And then Blacula manages to creep up on this voodoo priest and bites him. He doesn't kill him, though. He merely turns him into a vampire, of course. And Dracula's apprentice, or his particular heir apparent, which is Blacula, continues on a murderous spree, of course, throughout this film. He kills various types of people and he creates his own vampire coven, of course. So in the end, of course, he desires to become human again, of course. He doesn't want to stay a vampire, so he realizes that if voodoo has resurrected him, it could possibly cure him. And so he seeks out a voodoo priestess played by Pam Grier. Yes, folks, Pam Grier also co-stars in Scream, Blacula, Scream. She's a much more powerful voodoo priestess than the voodoo priest that brought back Blacula, of course. So he seeks her out for her help, but at the same time, he can't stop his vampire cravings for blood, of course. This particular film came out a year after the original one. In fact, they could have made a whole trilogy and more off of the Blacula character because it's so powerful and, of course, intimidating and impactful. To give the fan bases a black vampire prince who's called Blacula, of course, and he was turned by Count Dracula himself. How cooler is that? Okay, so recently I sat down to watch the trailer because I had not seen the trailer before, but I seen the movie in its entirety and I found that it was incredibly good, of course. So I'm going to review the trailer for your listening enjoyments. So here we go, ready or not, here it comes. Now the film starts off in a big mansion. An actor, I believe Richard Lawson, plays a vampire priest, but he has minimum powers in voodoo. He's shown casting a spell over a bunch of bones. He has bones, human bones or human remains, and he's casting a spell. He doesn't know that those bones belong to Blacula, of course. So he casts a spell once and it seems to fail. So he repeats the spell again. So he's having more success. Now we're showing that Dracula is coming back because he's shown rising up, and now a mysterious shadow is shown in back of the voodoo priest who has resurrected Blacula. You would think that Blacula would have been happy about his resurrection, but he wasn't. He immediately bites the voodoo priest, of course, and turns him into a vampire. That comes a little bit after it. Now, the next scene shows Blacula in his mansion being attacked by police officers. He immediately dispatches them quick. The next scene shows Blacula talking to Pam Grier's character, the voodoo priestess. He's saying how much he needs her desperately because he wants her to reverse the curse that Dracula put on him. He sees it as a curse, of course. Unlike many other vampires, he doesn't like his situation in regards to drinking people's blood and killing folks. Okay. So now a cop guy is asking Blacula about vampires. He's asking him, do he believe in vampires? So Mabuwambi or Mabuwadi, who's playing Blacula, replies, if you believe in vampires, that gives you an edge over the rest, of course. And the cop sort of is indicating that he knows that Mabuwandi is responsible for the vampire killings and the code of vampires that are popping up. So next, the scene goes to Pam Grier's character performing the ritual, a voodoo ritual or voodoo spell, and she's shown to be intensely sweating during this process, of course. Okay, now Dracula's apprentice, which is Blacula, is shown standing in front of his cult of vampires who have waken up out of their coffins. But he downgrades them and tells them that they're foul, decrepit, and things like that. So he doesn't like them, in other words, even though he made them.